What's something you can't ever forgive but completely understand? My older brother reported me to child services when I was 15, thinking he was saving my life. He destroyed everything instead. We lived with our alcoholic dad after mom died in a car accident. Dad worked construction, drank every night, passed out on the couch by 9 p.m. Some nights he'd get angry and throw things, but never hit us. Just bottles against walls, plates in the sink. Luke was 18, working at the hardware store, saving money for community college. I was getting good grades, had friends, played basketball. It wasn't perfect, but it was stable. Luke kept pushing Dad to get help, leaving AA pamphlets around the house. Dad would just throw them away and drink more. The fighting between them got worse every week. Dad would call Luke useless, say he was wasting money on college dreams. Luke would storm out and stay at friends' houses for days. One Tuesday, Luke came home early from work and found Dad passed out in his own vomit on the kitchen floor. Dad was fine, just drunk, but Luke panicked. He called an ambulance, then child services that same night. When the social worker arrived the next morning, she took one look at our house and immediately started the removal process. Empty beer cans everywhere, no groceries in the fridge, Dad hungover and belligerent. She asked me questions about school, about bruises I didn't have, about feeling safe. I told her everything was fine, that Dad never hurt us, that Luke was overreacting. She didn't believe me. Within 48 hours, I was in foster care. Luke thought I'd be placed with relatives, maybe our aunt in Michigan. Instead, I got stuck with the Morrison family, who took in kids for the monthly checks. 5 other foster kids in a 3-bedroom house. Mrs. Morrison locked the fridge at night, made us ask permission to use the bathroom, took our clothes shopping money for herself. The worst part was changing schools mid-semester. Lost all my friends, quit basketball, grades dropped from A's to C's because I couldn't focus. My new school was in a rough neighborhood. Kids I didn't know, teachers who didn't care, zero support system. I called Luke crying every night for the first month. He kept promising it would get better, that Dad was getting help, that we'd be back together soon. Dad did try. Went to 3 weeks of AA meetings, got a sponsor, even called the social worker, asking about getting me back. But by then, the system had labeled him unfit. They required 6 months of sobriety, parenting classes, stable housing, regular income. Dad couldn't handle jumping through all their hoops while grieving mom and missing me. He started drinking heavier than before. Luke moved out completely. Couldn't stand watching Dad give up. I spent 2 years bouncing between foster homes. Some were okay, most were terrible. Aged out of the system at 18 with no family relationships left, no college plans, no support network. Had to work full-time at a gas station just to afford a studio apartment. Luke went to college like he planned, got his degree, started his own business. We barely spoke for 5 years. When we finally talked, he broke down crying, admitting he thought child services would help our family get resources, not destroy it. He said he researched it afterwards and learned that removing kids usually makes everything worse, not better. He'd been living with guilt ever since, watching my life fall apart while his got better. Dad died alone in that same house when I was 22. Liver failure. Luke called to tell me, asked if I wanted to go to the funeral together. I said no. The thing is, I completely understand why Luke made that call. He was 18, scared, had no idea how the system actually worked. He thought he was protecting me from Dad's drinking, from living in chaos. He genuinely believed trained professionals would help our family heal. He was trying to be a good big brother, but I can't forgive him for not talking to me first, for making that decision without asking what I wanted. I lost my dad, my home, my friends, my future plans, all because Luke thought he knew what was best for me. 2 years in foster care taught me that broken families are still families, and sometimes the system breaks them worse than addiction ever could.